What happens when a single signal from an ancient beacon turns humanity into prey for ruthless space hunters? You won't believe how Captain Victoria Storm flips the odds in her favor after uncovering their deadly secret. The year is 2378, and humanity has spread its reach across the stars, colonizing distant planets and uncovering the mysteries of the cosmos. But not all discoveries are meant to be found. Captain Victoria Storm, a decorated explorer aboard the starship Eclipse Dash, receives an anomaly report from the uncharted planet Aurelia, a faint, pulsating signal emanating from its surface. The signal is unlike anything ever recorded, rhythmic yet haunting, as if calling out across the void of space. Against protocol and driven by insatiable curiosity, she sets course for Aurelia. Little does she know, this decision will thrust her into a nightmare beyond imagination. Victoria's reputation precedes her. She's known throughout the galaxy as a fearless leader, someone who thrives in the face of uncertainty. Her crew admires her, but they also worry about her tendency to push boundaries. When the signal first appeared on their scanners, it was weak, almost imperceptible. Most would have dismissed it as interference or some natural phenomenon. But Victoria saw potential. She couldn't let it go unnoticed. As the eclipse approaches Aurelia, the crew grows uneasy. The planet looks deceptively serene from orbit, with swirling clouds and shimmering oceans. Yet something feels off, a subtle wrongness that even the ship's advanced sensors can't quite identify. When Victoria steps into the reconnaissance pod, her heart pounds with anticipation. She knows the risks, but she's willing to take them. After all, exploration isn't just her job. It's her calling. As the pod descends toward the planet's surface, the signal grows stronger, resonating through the cockpit like a heartbeat. Every pulse sends a shiver down her spine. What could be causing it? Is it a remnant of an ancient civilization? A distress call from survivors stranded on this desolate world? Or perhaps something far more sinister? With each passing moment, the mystery deepens, pulling her inexorably closer to answers she may not be ready for. Aurelia is a world of contradictions, beautiful yet treacherous, vibrant yet deadly. As Victoria descends in her reconnaissance pod, the landscape unfolds beneath her. Jagged cliffs carved by alien winds, sprawling forests glowing with bioluminescent flora, and rivers that shimmer like liquid silver under twin suns. The signal grows stronger, guiding her deeper into the wilderness. Each step feels heavier, the air thick with an unsettling energy. Her instruments flicker erratically, and shadows seem to stretch unnaturally against the light. Something about this place feels wrong, as though the planet itself is alive and watching. Every detail of Aurelia strikes Victoria as both awe-inspiring and unnerving. The towering trees loom overhead, their trunks gnarled and twisted like the fingers of ancient giants. Their leaves glow softly, casting an ethereal light over the forest floor. Strange creatures dart between the foliage, their movements quick and erratic. Some resemble insects, while others defy classification entirely. Despite the beauty surrounding her, Victoria can't shake the feeling that she's being observed. Every sound, the rustle of leaves, the distant calls of unseen animals, sets her nerves on edge. Even the ground beneath her boots seems alive, shifting slightly with each step as if responding to her presence. Her suit's environmental sensors provide little comfort. Temperature fluctuations spike unpredictably, and gravity shifts subtly depending on her location. At times, she feels lighter, almost buoyant, while other moments leave her struggling to lift her feet. It's as though Aurelia resists her intrusion, testing her resolve. Still, Victoria presses onward, drawn inexorably toward the source of the signal. She knows danger lurks here, but she also senses opportunity. This planet holds secrets, and she's determined to uncover them no matter the cost. We're only beginning to scratch the surface of what lies ahead. Trust me, the tension only escalates from here. Stay tuned to witness how far Captain Storm must go to survive when she realizes just how dangerous this discovery truly is. After hours of navigating the labyrinthine terrain, Victoria finally locates the source of the signal, an ancient monolith buried deep within a canyon. Towering over her, it radiates a faint hum, its surface etched with intricate carvings that defy comprehension. She reaches out cautiously, her gloved hand brushing against the artifact. Instantly, visions flood her mind. Chaos, destruction, beings moving faster than thought, their eyes gleaming with predatory intent. She stumbles back, disoriented but resolute. Whatever this beacon is, it wasn't built by chance. It was designed with purpose. And now, it seems, she's awakened something dormant. The monolith stands at least 20 meters tall, its obsidian-like surface smooth to the touch yet impossibly cold. The carvings covering it resemble nothing Victoria has ever seen before, symbols that twist and writhe as if alive. They seem to shift when viewed from different angles, creating an illusion of movement that makes her head spin. When she touches the artifact again, the visions return, more vivid this time. She sees cities burning, skies filled with ships raining fire, and shadowy figures stalking terrified survivors. The images are fragmented, chaotic, but one thing is clear. These events occurred long ago, possibly millennia in the past. Despite the terror coursing through her veins, Victoria forces herself to focus. She activates her suit's recording equipment, capturing every detail of the monolith for later analysis. Her instincts scream at her to leave, to put as much distance between herself and this cursed object as possible. But something keeps her rooted to the spot, a mixture of fascination and duty. If this beacon holds the key to understanding what happened here, then abandoning it would mean turning her back on history. And Victoria doesn't believe in running from challenges. As night falls on Aurelia, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. The vibrant colors of the day give way to an eerie stillness, broken only by the occasional rustle of unseen creatures. Victoria sets up a temporary camp near the monolith, scanning the area for signs of danger. But then, she hears it, a low, guttural growl echoing through the darkness. Her heart pounds as she scans the horizon, her weapon drawn. Suddenly, movement catches her eye. Figures dart between the trees, too fast to track. They're testing her, gauging her reactions. Panic begins to creep in as she realizes these aren't ordinary predators. They're hunters, and they've marked her as prey. The temperature drops sharply as night takes hold, and the forest transforms into a realm of shadows and whispers. The glowing flora dims, leaving only faint pinpricks of light scattered across the landscape. Victoria's helmet display flickers intermittently, struggling to compensate for the lack of visibility. She huddles near the base of the monolith, using its bulk as cover while she tries to steady her breathing. Every sound amplifies in the oppressive silence. The crunch of leaves underfoot, the distant splash of water, the creak of branches swaying in the wind. None of it provides reassurance. Instead, it heightens her anxiety. Then the growl comes again, louder this time, closer. Victoria spins around, her weapon aimed at the source of the noise. Nothing moves in the immediate vicinity, but she knows she's not alone. Shadows shift at the edges of her vision, fleeting glimpses of shapes that disappear before she can get a clear look. Her tactical visor picks up heat signatures, but they're erratic, vanishing as quickly as they appear. Whatever is out there is intelligent, adaptive, and relentless. For the first time since landing on Aurelia, Victoria feels truly vulnerable. The first attack comes without warning. A clawed appendage slashes through the air mere inches from her face, forcing her to dive for cover. More figures emerge from the shadows, surrounding her in a semicircle. Their bodies are sleek and muscular, covered in chitinous armor that glimmers faintly in the moonlight. Their movements are precise, calculated, as if every step is part of a larger strategy. Victoria fires blindly, her shots ricocheting harmlessly off their exoskeletons. Realizing brute force won't work, she uses her surroundings to her advantage. weaving through the dense foliage and setting improvised traps along the way. For now, she manages to evade them, but she knows this is only the beginning. Adrenaline surges through Victoria's veins as she scrambles to her feet, narrowly avoiding another swipe from the nearest hunter. These creatures are unlike anything she's encountered before. Part machine, part organism, their forms blending seamlessly into the environment. Their limbs extend and retract with unnatural speed, and their eyes glow with an intensity that pierces through the darkness. Each movement they make is deliberate, efficient, as though they've studied her tactics and adapted accordingly. Desperation fuels her actions as she retreats deeper into the forest. She grabs vines and fallen branches, fashioning crude snares and tripwires to slow her pursuers. Small explosives from her utility belt serve as distractions, detonating with sharp bursts of light and sound that momentarily disorient the hunters. But their numbers are overwhelming, and their coordination is flawless. They communicate silently, exchanging gestures and signals that Victoria can't decipher. It's as if they share a hive mind, working together as a single entity rather than individuals. Despite her efforts, Victoria finds herself cornered near a rocky outcrop. The hunters close in, their claws clicking ominously as they prepare to strike. She steadies herself, gripping her weapon tightly and preparing for a final stand. Just as all hope seems lost, inspiration strikes. Using her last remaining charge, she triggers a powerful EMP blast, temporarily disabling their advanced systems. Seizing the opportunity, she bolts into the night, putting as much distance between herself and her pursuers as possible. For now, she's safe, but she knows it's only a matter of time before they regroup and resume the hunt. Exhausted and injured, Victoria finds temporary refuge in a cave system hidden beneath the forest floor. She tends to her wounds while analyzing data from her suit's sensors. The hunter's behavior suggests intelligence far beyond instinctual predation. They're tracking her methodically, anticipating her next move. Worse yet, they've begun tampering with the monolith, attempting to decipher its secrets. Why? What do they want with the beacon? As dawn breaks, Victoria formulates a plan. If she can't outrun them, she'll have to outsmart them and turn their own tactics against them. The cave is damp and cold, its walls glistening with moisture that reflects the faint light of her helmet's visor. Victoria leans against a jagged rock formation, her breath shallow as she assesses the damage. Her suit has taken a beating, scratches mar its surface, and one of the armor plates hangs loose, exposing part of her arm to the biting chill. Blood trickles down her side where a claw grazed her during the chase, but she forces herself to focus. Survival depends on clarity, not panic. Her suit's diagnostic systems reveal alarming patterns in the hunter's movements. They aren't simply following her. They're predicting her actions, cutting off escape routes before she even considers them. It's unnerving how efficiently they operate, almost as though they've studied human behavior, or perhaps encountered other intelligent species in the past. Their interest in the monolith adds another layer of complexity. Why would beings so advanced care about an ancient artifact? Do they see it as a threat, or does it hold some value to them? As sunlight filters through cracks in the cave ceiling, Victoria studies the recordings she captured earlier. The carvings on the monolith seem to pulse faintly in sync with the signal, each symbol glowing brighter when certain frequencies align. Could the hunters be trying to activate it? Or worse, disable it? Either way, their presence complicates matters. If they succeed, whatever purpose the beacon serves might fall into their hands. And Victoria knows better than to assume their intentions are benign. With renewed determination, she begins assembling makeshift tools from scavenged materials, wires stripped from damaged equipment, shards of metal sharpened into crude blades, and small charges rigged for maximum impact. Every item in her possession becomes a potential weapon or decoy. She maps out possible strategies, considering every variable, the terrain, the hunter's weaknesses, if any, and her dwindling resources. One thing is clear: Brute force won't win this fight. She'll need to rely on cunning, deception, and precision if she hopes to survive. Victoria emerges from the caves at sunrise, armed with makeshift weapons and a renewed determination. She lures the hunters into a series of traps, using flares and explosives to create diversions. At first, her strategy works. Several hunters fall victim to her ambushes. But as the battle rages on, their adaptability becomes clear. They learn from her tactics, countering her every move with increasing aggression. One hunter pins her to the ground, its claws inches from her throat. Just as all hope seems lost, she triggers a final trap, sending debris cascading down upon it. Gasping for breath, she realizes this fight isn't just about survival. It's personal now. The morning air is crisp, carrying the scent of alien vegetation mingled with the metallic tang of spilled blood. Victoria moves cautiously, her boots crunching softly over brittle leaves. She sets up her first trap near a cluster of luminescent mushrooms, rigging a flare to ignite when triggered. Then she retreats, waiting silently among the shadows. Minutes stretch into eternity until finally, movement catches her eye. A lone hunter stalks into view, its head tilting curiously as it inspects the area. With a sharp crack, the flare erupts, blinding the creature momentarily. Before it can recover, Victoria detonates a nearby charge, sending shards of rock flying and forcing it to retreat. Encouraged by her success, she repeats the process, leading the hunters deeper into the labyrinth of traps she's laid. Each victory boosts her confidence, but also deepens her awareness of their relentless nature. These creatures don't falter, don't hesitate. When one falls, two more take its place, adapting instantly to her methods. They begin coordinating attacks, flanking her from multiple directions and forcing her to improvise on the fly. Her body screams in protest as she sprints, leaps, and dives to evade their strikes, but adrenaline keeps her moving. Then comes the moment that nearly breaks her. Cornered near a cliffside, she faces a single hunter head-on, its towering frame blocking her path. Its claws lash out faster than she can react, pinning her to the ground. Pain explodes across her chest as its weight presses down, suffocating her. For a brief second, she thinks this is it, the end of her journey. But then, she remembers the last trap she set, concealed behind a pile of loose rocks. Summoning every ounce of strength, she reaches for the trigger hidden in her glove and activates it. The ground trembles as boulders tumble downward, crushing the hunter and giving her just enough time to scramble free. Breathing heavily, Victoria collapses onto her knees, staring at the lifeless form of her adversary. This isn't just survival anymore, it's vengeance. These hunters have pushed her to her limits, tested her resolve, and forced her to confront her mortality. Now she's determined to make them pay. With each encounter, Victoria uncovers fragments of information about the hunters. Scans reveal residual energy signatures matching those emitted by the monolith. It dawns on her they weren't drawn to Aurelia by accident. Like her, they followed the signal. But why? Desperate for answers, she deciphers sections of the monolith's inscriptions, piecing together a chilling narrative. Long ago, a civilization thrived here, advanced and peaceful. Then came the hunters, annihilating everything in their path. The beacon wasn't constructed to warn others. It was built to lure the hunters away, sacrificing one world to save countless others. Now, Victoria understands the gravity of her situation. By activating the beacon, she may have doomed herself and possibly others. Back in the relative safety of the caves, Victoria pores over the data she's collected. Her suit's scanner overlays holographic images of the monolith's carvings, highlighting patterns and connections she hadn't noticed before. Some symbols resemble constellations, mapping out star systems far beyond Aurelia's borders. Others depict scenes of destruction, cities reduced to rubble, skies choked with ash, and figures fleeing in terror. The hunters appear repeatedly in these depictions, their forms unmistakable despite the artistic style. It's the final sequence that sends chills down her spine. A massive structure, eerily similar to the monolith, sits at the center of a barren wasteland. Beams of light radiate outward, stretching across galaxies. Surrounding it are ships, countless ships belonging to the hunters. The implication is clear. The beacon doesn't just attract attention. It broadcasts a message, drawing the hunters to specific coordinates. Whether it serves as bait or a warning remains unclear, but one thing is certain: the hunters interpret it as an invitation. Victoria's mind races as she processes this revelation. If the beacon functions as a lure, then her arrival here wasn't coincidence. Someone or something wanted the hunters to come. Was it a desperate attempt to protect other worlds, sacrificing Aurelia as a decoy? Or was it a trap designed to eliminate the hunters once and for all? Either explanation raises troubling questions. Who created the beacon? How long has it been active? And most importantly, what happens if the hunters decode its full potential? Her thoughts are interrupted by the distant sound of movement outside the cave. The hunters haven't given up. If anything, their persistence has grown more aggressive. Time is running out. She needs to act quickly, but without understanding the beacon's true purpose, she risks making things worse. Yet doing nothing isn't an option either. For better or worse, she's become entangled in a conflict spanning centuries, and walking away isn't part of her nature. Time becomes both ally and enemy as Victoria races to disable the beacon before the hunters fully decode it. She scours the ruins surrounding the monolith, searching for any mechanism that might shut it down. Along the way, she encounters remnants of the lost civilization. Statues frozen mid-motion, holographic records depicting scenes of prosperity and terror, and artifacts humming with latent power. Each discovery fuels her resolve, but also deepens her dread. These people didn't stand a chance against the hunters. What makes her think she can fare any better? The ruins sprawl across kilometers of dense jungle, their architecture blending seamlessly with the natural landscape. Buildings rise like jagged teeth from the undergrowth, their surfaces covered in moss and vines. Victoria navigates carefully, avoiding unstable structures and scanning for traps left behind by the original inhabitants. Every step reveals new insights into the civilization that once called Aurelia home. Holograms flicker to life as she passes, showing bustling marketplaces, serene temples, and vast libraries filled with knowledge. They were a people of art and science, their achievements rivaling humanity's greatest accomplishments. But interspersed among these idyllic images are darker scenes. Battles fought in the streets, families huddled in shelters, leaders arguing over evacuation plans. The transition from peace to chaos is jarring, underscoring the suddenness of the hunters' arrival. Victoria pauses before a crumbling monument, its base engraved with words translated roughly as, "To those who come after." It's a plea, a warning, and a testament to their resilience. Despite knowing their fate, they chose to leave a legacy, hoping someone might learn from their mistakes. Among the artifacts she finds, one stands out, a crystalline sphere pulsating with soft blue light. When she touches it, fragmented memories flood her mind. Not her own, but those of the civilization's last survivors. She sees their desperation, their futile attempts to defend themselves, and ultimately, their acceptance of defeat. The beacon was their final act of defiance, a gambit to buy time for others to escape. Holding the sphere, Victoria feels a profound connection to these strangers who lived and died millennia ago. Their story mirrors her own struggle, hope amidst despair, courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Yet even as her resolve hardens, doubt creeps in. Can she truly succeed where they failed? The hunters are relentless, their technology superior. Even if she disables the beacon, will it stop them permanently, or merely delay their inevitable conquest? Questions swirl in her mind, but there's no time for hesitation. Outside the ruins, The sounds of pursuit grow louder. The hunters are closing in, and the beacon's signal pulses stronger than ever. The climax erupts in a blaze of chaos and fury. Victoria confronts the hunters head-on, using every ounce of ingenuity and courage to hold her ground. Explosions rock the landscape as she fights tooth and nail, refusing to yield. In a desperate gamble, she rigs the monolith to self-destruct, knowing it could cost her life. As the countdown begins, the hunters redouble their efforts, determined to claim the beacon. In a heart-stopping finale, Victoria narrowly escapes the blast radius, watching as the monolith collapses into ruin. Silence settles over Aurelia, broken only by the sound of her ragged breathing. Has she succeeded or unleashed an even greater threat? Standing amidst the wreckage, Victoria surveys the aftermath. The monolith lies shattered, its once proud form reduced to smoldering debris. Around her, the hunters lie motionless, their bodies charred and broken. Smoke fills the air, mixing with the acrid scent of scorched metal and alien vegetation. Her body aches from exertion, every muscle screaming in protest, but she forces herself to stay upright. Defeat isn't an option. As the dust settles, reality sinks in. She destroyed the beacon, but at what cost? Did she neutralize the hunter's target, or did she inadvertently broadcast its location to others like them? The signal had reached far beyond Aurelia, perhaps farther than she realized. Somewhere in the galaxy, someone or something is listening, and they won't forget. Battered but alive, Victoria surveys the aftermath. The hunters lie scattered, their forms motionless amidst the wreckage. Yet victory feels hollow. Questions linger in the air. Did she truly stop them, or merely delay the inevitable? The beacon's destruction leaves behind traces of its signal, faint but persistent. Somewhere in the galaxy, someone or something is listening. As she limps back to her pod, Victoria vows to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Each step is agonizing, her body protesting against the strain of battle and the weight of her own thoughts. The forest around her seems subdued, as if even Aurelia itself mourns the loss of the ancient monolith. Shadows stretch long across the ground as the twin suns dip below the horizon, casting the world in hues of orange and purple. Victoria's helmet display flickers intermittently, its system struggling to cope with the electromagnetic fallout from the explosion. She adjusts her course, relying on instinct rather than technology to guide her back to the rendezvous point. Her mind races with possibilities. What if disabling the beacon wasn't enough? What if the hunters were merely scouts, sent ahead to secure the artifact while their main fleet waits elsewhere? Or worse, what if the signal has already reached others like them, predators drawn by the promise of conquest or resources? Every scenario she imagines fills her with dread, but also determination. She can't afford to second-guess herself now. Survival demands action, not paralysis. As she approaches the clearing where her reconnaissance pod awaits, Victoria pauses to glance back at the devastated landscape. Smoke still rises from the ruins, a grim reminder of the price paid for her survival. Part of her wonders if she made the right choice, if destroying the beacon was an act of heroism or hubris. But there's no time for regret. The galaxy is vast, and its mysteries are endless. If she wants answers, she'll have to seek them out herself. Aboard the Eclipse Dash, Victoria replays the events in her mind. She survived, but scars remain, not just physical but emotional. The beacon's secrets haunt her dreams, its whispers urging her to seek answers. Data recovered from the ruins points to other planets, other beacons scattered throughout the cosmos. Could there be more civilizations facing the same fate? Or worse, could the hunters already be en route to new targets? For now, Victoria focuses on healing, but she knows peace is fleeting. The galaxy holds many dangers, and some cannot be ignored. The sterile corridors of the Eclipse feel alien after days spent on Aurelia's untamed surface. Victoria moves through the ship like a ghost, her movements mechanical as she attends briefings and submits reports. Her crew watches her warily, sensing the storm brewing beneath her composed exterior. They've seen this look before, the one that says she's planning something big, something dangerous. And they're right. In the privacy of her quarters, Victoria pores over the data salvaged from the ruins. Fragments of star charts, encrypted messages, and partial schematics paint a picture both fascinating and terrifying. The civilization that built the beacon wasn't alone. Similar structures exist on dozens of worlds, each linked by a network of signals designed to communicate across unimaginable distances. Some nodes are active, broadcasting continuously, while others remain dormant, waiting for activation. It's a web spanning galaxies, connecting civilizations separated by light years, and inviting predators to follow the trail. Victoria's fingers hover over the holographic interface, tracing the routes between these distant locations. Each dot represents a potential lead, a clue to understanding the hunter's origins and motives. But it also represents risk. Visiting any of these sites could draw unwanted attention, putting not only her life but the lives of countless others in jeopardy. Still, she can't ignore the opportunity. If she can piece together the full scope of this network, she might find a way to turn the hunter's tactics against them, or at least warn those in their path. Her thoughts drift to the crystalline sphere she retrieved from the ruins. It sits on her desk, pulsing softly with blue light, a tangible connection to the people who came before her. Their courage inspires her. Their sacrifice fuels her resolve. Whatever lies ahead, she owes it to them and to herself to see this through. Days pass, and Victoria resumes her duties aboard the Eclipse Dash. Yet unease lingers. During routine patrols, her sensors detect anomalies, signals similar to the one that led her to Aurelia. Are they echoes of the original beacon, or something else entirely? Reports trickle in from nearby sectors of increased activity, sightings of ships bearing markings eerily reminiscent of the hunters. Coincidence? Or prelude to another attack? Victoria prepares for the worst, knowing the universe rarely grants second chances. The Eclipse glides silently through the void, its sleek hull reflecting the cold light of distant stars. Victoria stands on the bridge, staring out at the endless expanse of space. Despite the calm exterior, tension hums through the ship like an electric current. Crew members exchange nervous glances, their voices hushed as they discuss recent developments. Rumors spread quickly among explorers and traders alike. Strange ships appearing without warning, colonies reporting unexplained disappearances, entire fleets vanishing without a trace. None of it bodes well. Victoria's instincts scream at her to investigate further, but protocol dictates caution. Without concrete evidence, Command dismisses her concerns as speculation. To them, the galaxy is vast, and such incidents are inevitable. But Victoria knows better. She's seen the hunters' efficiency firsthand, their ability to adapt and overwhelm. If they're expanding their reach, humanity may already be in their crosshairs. Determined to gather more information, Victoria begins monitoring transmissions from nearby systems. Fragmented messages hint at coordinated attacks, survivors describing horrors too terrible to comprehend. One report stands out. A colony on the edge of known space went dark shortly after detecting a mysterious signal. Its last transmission contained coordinates matching one of the nodes on her map. The pieces start falling into place, forming a pattern she can't ignore. Wherever the hunters go, devastation follows. And they're getting closer. Determined to prevent another tragedy, Victoria petitions Command for resources to investigate the signals further. Her request is met with skepticism. Many dismiss her claims as paranoia. Undeterred, she assembles a small team of trusted allies, individuals who share her conviction. Together, they chart a course into unexplored territory, following the faint trail left by the beacon's remnants. Along the way, they encounter wonders and horrors alike, each experience shaping them into something greater than they were before. For Victoria, This journey is no longer just about survival, it's about redemption. The decision to defy orders weighs heavily on Victoria, but she knows it's necessary. Trusting her gut over bureaucratic red tape, she gathers a group of volunteers, engineers, scientists, and soldiers willing to risk everything for the greater good. Among them is Lieutenant Marcus Kane, a seasoned pilot with nerves of steel, Dr. Elena Voss, an archaeologist specializing in alien cultures, and Sergeant Ria Torres, a combat specialist whose loyalty is unmatched. Each brings unique skills to the mission, united by a shared belief in Victoria's cause. Their first destination is a remote planet on the fringes of explored space, its surface dotted with ruins resembling those on Aurelia. As the Eclipse enters orbit, scans reveal energy signatures consistent with beacon activity. Excitement mixes with apprehension as the team prepares to disembark. They know what they're up against, yet none hesitate. This isn't just exploration, it's a fight for survival. On the ground, they discover remnants of another civilization, eerily similar yet distinctly different from the one they encountered before. Statues depict beings with elongated limbs and wide, expressive eyes, their expressions frozen in eternal awe or terror. Inscriptions cover walls and artifacts, telling stories of prosperity followed by ruin. The parallels are undeniable, reinforcing Victoria's theory about the hunter's methods. Civilization after civilization falls prey to their relentless expansion. But it's not all despair. Hidden within the ruins, they find technological marvels, devices capable of manipulating gravity, generating energy from ambient radiation, and even bending light to render objects invisible. These innovations offer hope, tools that could level the playing field against the hunters. With each discovery, the team grows stronger, their bond deepening as they face challenges together. For Victoria, leading this group feels like finding family amid chaos, a reminder that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, humanity endures. In the vastness of space, one signal changed everything. Captain Victoria Storm faced unimaginable odds, fought battles that tested her very soul, and emerged forever changed. But the galaxy is vast, and its mysteries endless. Will she rise to meet the challenges ahead, or succumb to forces beyond comprehension? Hit subscribe to follow her journey through the stars and uncover the secrets waiting among the constellations. The final moments aboard the Eclipse are filled with quiet reflection. Victoria stands alone on the observation deck, gazing out at the infinite expanse of stars. Her journey has only begun, yet she carries the weight of countless lives on her shoulders. Each decision, each step forward, shapes the future, not just for her, but for everyone who calls the galaxy home. Behind her, the team works tirelessly, analyzing data, repairing equipment, and preparing for whatever lies ahead. Their laughter echoes through the corridors, a stark contrast to the gravity of their mission. Victoria smiles faintly, grateful for their presence. Together, they've proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, courage and unity can prevail. As the Eclipse accelerates toward its next destination, Victoria turns away from the viewport, resolve etched into every line of her face. The road ahead will be fraught with danger, but she's ready. Humanity's survival depends on her willingness to confront the unknown, to stand against predators lurking in the shadows. And she won't stop until the galaxy is safe or until her last breath. For now, the stars shine brightly, guiding her onward. But somewhere beyond the light, the hunters wait.